back to another episode of Legal Talk with Shazzy. If you're new here, please be sure to subscribe, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. As always, I'm Sharon. I'm going to be your host for today's episode. And as the title suggests, today's episode is just going to be me speaking about my experience with PLTs so far, as well as a little bit of a rant. But also that being that it's exam season, I thought maybe it would be a good idea to just share some good study tips with you guys. Tips that I've also had to apply myself, honestly, because it has been brutal. It has truthfully been brutal. And that's probably why my content has been delayed of late, because I've been busy with my assignments and the exams. But briefly, before we get into all of that, I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody who commented under my last post. I did not think that it was going to get a lot of reviews like that, and a lot of you actually like story times. So I'll be sure to make sure that I do story times on my channel if that's what you guys want to see. I was thinking about maybe doing a story time on why I decided to become an attorney instead of an advocate, because that was something that someone had requested initially. So I'm definitely going to do that for you guys. But yeah, so let's just jump straight into the video. PLTs, guys, it's not your friend. It's not your friend. It's not easy. It's hard, okay? But we're pushing through, Last week I was busy with all of my assignments. They were all due on the 4th of June. And because I procrastinated, which you're not supposed to do, I ended up having to do them 3 days before, which was a rush because there's 17 in total. So you can imagine there was no sleeping, like zero sleep whatsoever. But fortunately, I had studied for them, so it was much easier to approach them, because a lot of them are MCQs, which if you're a Regenesys student, or even any student really, you would understand that MCQs are your multiple choice questions, which were relatively easy. So yeah, I like to think that I did very well in those assignments, if I do say so myself. But I still have assignments that are due on the 2nd of July, and I have an exam that's due on the 17th of June. So that will be my Wills and Estates exam for my PLT course. I'm kind of nervous, I'm not gonna lie, because it is a lot. Like, Wills and Estates is a lot, and I think that's probably why they had it as their own separate exam, because it's quite bulky. We were supposed to have done it or have written it sometime last week, but I think because of, I'm not entirely sure what the internal struggles were there, but yeah, so far I've written LPAM, which is your legal practice accounts management, and BBST, which is a overall exam encompassing all the subjects that we've done so far. Let me know in a separate video if you guys want to see what subjects we've done so far for the PLTs, and yeah, just let me know. But mostly they're mostly like the ones that you've done for your LLB, if you completed your LLB and you are contemplating on doing the PLT. So I'll definitely advise that you do the PLTs, even though it's hard. But my experience of the PLT course so far hasn't been bad. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that I've been miserable the whole time. No, I think I've more so learned about the law in a more practical way. And I know saying that sounds redundant because I have work experience, but sitting there and having lectures every other evening has definitely helped me in terms of how to apply the law practically in practical situations. So yeah, the experience hasn't been bad. It's just been a lot of work. That's all I'm gonna say. It's a lot of work. It's a lot to digest. It's a lot of theory that you have to digest in a short space of time. And by short space of time, I mean 6 months. So with me, because I did the long distance training, not the one where you have to physically go in, it does have its own pros and does have its own cons. For instance, obviously doing the long distance for me has been an added advantage because you attend the lectures from home. You don't have to drive to a separate venue every other time. Petrol is not cheap. Petrol is not cheap. But aside from the petrol crisis, I think the PLTs has allowed me some time to attend to other responsibilities. However, I will say though that it has been a struggle when the lectures are on. For instance, if I have a 5:30 lecture, sometimes people will have questions, and obviously you can't fault people for having questions. I have questions most of the time because no one knows everything, but sometimes the lectures will then overlap. So you would have you would have a lecture from 5:30 to 8:30, for instance. But because of the questions and answering session, sometimes the lectures would go over into maybe 8:45 or 9 o'clock. And then obviously in your mind, if you've created a schedule, that kind of impedes on your schedule. So let's enter the practical side of this video. If you've stuck with me so far, please stay tuned, especially if you're a first year law student or first year paralegal, or you're doing the paralegal course or any type of course. I think these types of tips will be helpful. I'll make it short, otherwise this video is going to be very long. But please do comment down below in the comments if you have any other study tips that you wanted to share with others. But yeah, this is just the basics. I'm not going to be going in depth with all the things that you have to do. So yeah. So I created some notes so that we're concise and so that I don't veer off topic. I just want to make sure that you guys get as much information from this video as possible. So tip number 1 is create a study schedule or schedule, depending on how you pronounce it. I pronounce it as schedule, okay? Don't kill me. But this typically helps you organize your study subjects. For instance, if you have a big calendar, you can just hang it up on the wall and then write in what time you have to study this subject or what time you have to study that subject. It typically helps you with organization as well, so that you know how long you have to study for and what you're studying. It also just gives you a little bit of control over your time management and how you spend your time. In fact, I created a schedule back in high school, and I also did the same for when I started my LLB course. Obviously, as time progressed, I let that habit slip, but I'm trying to develop that study habit now so that I can do better with my time management, which is something that I'm actively working on as well. Tip number 2 is to eliminate distractions. Guys, when I say that I am get rid of your phone. Throw your phone away, throw it in the trash. I'm kidding. But just make sure that your phone or other devices are turned off when it's time to study, because this is something I struggle with. I don't think I'm very good with this, eliminating distractions, because you have apps now on your phone like Instagram, TikTok, all these other distracting things that take away from your study time. But if you eliminate that, you put your phone away or put it in a separate room, close all the unnecessary tabs on your computer if you have to, and sit in a quiet place where you won't be disturbed. I know that's not easy, especially for people who have kids in the house, or have to have other noise, or people's living situations aren't the same. But if you can find a quiet place, just go and be by yourself to study. This will help you avoid procrastination, which is something I fell victim to last week. I'm not proud of this, but it's something that I'm definitely applying. Eliminating distractions will definitely help you make the better use of your time. Tip number 3 is to take breaks. Take breaks, guys. I am a strong advocate for taking breaks. This is probably why I fell into procrastination in the first place. No, but take breaks. If you study for a long period of time, it could lead to something called burnout, and you don't want to burn out. You don't want to be that person who is going to their exam half asleep, or in most cases, you drink a whole bunch of Red Bull or other caffeinated drinks in order to make sure that you are concentrating. Take breaks, guys. If you have to take a break for 30 to 45 minutes, 45 to 60 minutes, it can help you recharge and refocus on the task at hand, which is to study. You want to avoid burnout. So take breaks, give yourself a break, maybe take a walk outside, get up, go and drink a glass of water, maybe even open your phone and then look at it briefly, but okay, maybe not your phone, because don't do that. But take breaks. Tip number 4 is to use active study methods. Now, using active study methods such as summarizing, creating flashcards, or even recording oneself while studying, which is something that I did quite a lot when I was studying for both my paralegal and for my LLB. or I would use the method of folding a piece of paper together and then writing a summary of my notes on the piece of paper, looking at the piece of paper, and then just making sure that I retain that information. Obviously, it's more effective than having passive study habits, which are your highlighting or you're just reading to yourself. But make sure that you create flashcards, make sure that you have summaries written down somewhere of the subject that you have. It helps you retain information better. It also helps you to remember important information. This one is one that I have preached, but is one that isn't really practiced within the practice of law. But tip number 5 is to get enough sleep. Get enough rest, because if you have a lack of sleep, it affects your concentration, your mood, everything is just, guys, sleep. Try not to study also late into the night, because it can affect your concentration if you're, for example, attending in-person lectures. It can affect your concentration, and that's not good for you, especially when you're going in to write an exam. So just get enough sleep, make sure that your body is retaining enough sleep. In conclusion, those were the 5 tips that I wanted to share with you guys today, as well as a little bit of my experience with my PLTs. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you've stuck with us for this long, I really hope you do like, comment, share this video, and subscribe to my channel so that you can be part of our growing legal learning community. We have officially hit the 1.2 mark, which I am super ecstatic about. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you, each and every single one of you who subscribe to this channel. You make a huge difference, and I just really hope that this information becomes useful to you guys in future. Another thing that I wanted to share with you guys, and that actually gave me an idea for this video, was the book that I'm reading. That book is Atomic Habits by James Clear. I just started the book, so I can't really give a review on it yet, but it's a really good book. I really would recommend you guys picking it up when you do get the chance. Yeah, so thanks so much for watching the video, guys. Thank you so much for sticking with us this long. Please do make sure, like I said, like, comment, and subscribe. I really enjoy hearing from you guys. So that is the end of our video. Thanks so much for sticking with us. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
So many days that I made this mistake. Too many nights.